We've all been there. You're standing in a museum staring at a painting and all you can think is, I don't get it. To me, knowing the story behind an artwork is a huge part of knowing how to look at it. I'm Amanda, the host of the Art of History podcast, where we view history through the lens of some really great works of art. Each episode, we dive deep into the bigger picture behind some familiar and maybe not so familiar pieces. Check out Art of History now wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, Culture Kids! Thanks for tuning in to another episode. My name is Kristen, and I am your host along with my 5-year-old son, Asher. This is our 11th episode, and we are so excited that our show is reaching so many friends in many different countries all over the world. If you love listening to Culture Kids, please do us a huge favor and tell your grown-ups to leave us a review so that more friends can hear about all the fun topics we discuss. Today, we're going to learn all about something so sweet, so delicious, a special creamy dessert that we all love to eat. It originated from a country called Italy, located in the continent of Europe. It has many different flavors, and it's cold, but people still love eating it even when it's snowing outside. This is also our Culture Kids word of the week, which is
Gelato! It's similar to ice cream, but we want to do an episode because not everyone knows the difference between gelato and ice cream.
That's correct. Ice cream can be commonly found everywhere around the world, but gelato has a cultural significance to the country of Italy, and there are specific ways to serve this dish that I think is very cool to learn about.
There are different ideas about how ice cream and gelato was first invented.
Many historians believe that the true origin of frozen desserts came from China a long time ago. The Chinese back then would freeze rice, spices, and some milk, which resulted in the history of gelato and ice cream.
Later on, they started adding things like fruit juice and milk.
Some historians say that the Greek king Alexander the Great would enjoy ice drinks that were sweetened with honey. There are even parts of the Bible that refer to frozen drinks too. But as to the invention of the modern-day gelato, Bernardo Buontalenti is credited to be the founder. He was from Florence, Italy, and was a stage designer, architect, theatrical designer, military engineer, and artist.
He's also a man of many talents.
So in the mid-1500s, there was a very fancy and powerful family called the Medicis, and they wanted Bernardo to organize an extravagant party. So he invented this dessert just for this special event.
Fancy!
Then he became very famous for this dessert to the rich because ice and salt was very expensive.
So this meant that gelato was not easily available to everybody.
Then in 1920s and 1930s, gelato became really popular when gelato carts were introduced.
Now there are gelato shops everywhere in Italy and all over the world.
But before we understand how popular is gelato, we have to know what it is and the difference between gelato and ice cream.
Yes, that is actually one of the main reasons why we decided to do this episode, so that our listeners can understand the main differences between ice cream and gelato and decide what they like better.
Gelato in Italian means frozen, and in Italy, it's basically used to call all ice creams in general.
But if we want to compare how gelato is served in Italy and how ice cream is served in other parts of the world, it comes down to 3 factors: fat, air, and serving temperature. Gelato generally has less fat and less air churned into it during the freezing process. Gelato uses less heavy cream than ice cream, so it has less fat than ice cream.
Ice cream is heavy on the cream and uses more egg yolk, so there's more fat.
Ice cream is also churned really fast, and ice cream makers also want to have more air in their product. It is less dense than gelato and is fluffier and melts faster.
Gelato is churned slower, so there is less air in the gelato. This gives gelato a milkier texture that's less creamy than ice cream, but silkier and more filling.
One of the other important things to know about the difference between gelato and ice cream is that gelato is served at a warmer temperature than ice cream. This makes gelato feel warmer and silkier on your tongue. Fans of the Italian gelato would say that the flavor of the gelato comes through and lingers, versus with ice cream, the heavy cream lasts as the end taste in your mouth.
So ice cream is served at a freezing temperature. If you want something colder and creamier, go for ice cream. If you want to try something rich and silky, get a gelato.
Another fun distinction between gelato and ice cream is that gelato is scooped with the spatula or a flat paddle.
And they pat it down. Unlike ice cream, we usually use a circular scooper. And it makes small little balls like a snowball. It's so pretty.
Yes. When we visited Italy, whenever we went to a gelato shop, it was very cool to watch them pat the gelato down. However, this is apparently a debate in Italy.
Some areas of Italy are actually more used to scoop with ice cream scooper than the spatula.
After doing some research, we learned that in areas like north of the country or in the Alps, ice cream scoopers are very common. But most vast majority of gelato shops in Italy use spatulas.
I love using ice cream scoopers because it makes little pies like snowballs.
But there are some cool benefits of using a spatula to scoop up gelato. It helps to ensure that the gelato is at the right temperature, because if it's too cold or frozen, the spatula could break.
Also, I think it's easier to clean a spatula than a scooper.
Oh, you got that right, Asher.
Let's talk about the Gelato World Cup.
Now, Asher and his grandfather has been watching a lot of soccer recently because the World Cup is happening right now, and it's a major soccer tournament that various countries participate in.
But there's a World Cup for gelatos, and lots of countries fight for first place.
This tournament is a pretty big deal with lots of sponsors and held every 2 years.
Yes!
The next one is going to be held in 2024.
Well, gelato is very important, so I think it's important as Soccer World Cup.
Okay, so Asher, allow me to introduce my favorite thing to order at gelato shops. Lots of grown-ups would love to try this.
I think I know what it is.
It's avocado.
It sounds like avocado. Yeah.
I wish it was as healthy as an avocado. Avocado means drowned in Italian. It's a scoop of gelato drowned in espresso.
It's a grown-up drink because it has a lot of caffeine.
That's correct. It's eaten as the gelato and coffee melt together into a sweet, creamy, but bittersweet mixture, which Italians love to eat after a meal.
I'll stick to my gelatos.
Well, friends, that's all we have for today. Let's end our episode with some jokes, as we always do. I have a good ice cream joke. Can I go first?
Yes.
Why did the ice cream truck break down?
Why?
Because of the rocky road.
Oh, I get it.
Because the rocky road is the flavor of the ice cream.
Ooh.
Okay, your turn.
What did the ice cream cone write on his Valentine's card?
What?
You make me melt.
Well, thank you for tuning in to another fun episode of Culture Kids. Remember to ask your grown-ups to check out our Instagram page at Culture Kids Podcast to see some cool photos or videos of everything we talked about today. And please feel free to reach out and connect if there's anything you want to learn about. We always want to hear from you. Stay curious and stay adventurous. And Asher, can we say ciao, which is goodbye or hello in Italian?